Kate, what's the name of your business?
Marmalade Designs.
And how long have you been working at Marmalade Designs?
I've had my company about 10 years, but in that time I've changed the product a lot. I've changed the jewelry a lot. I started with stained glass techniques, and gradually over time I built it into a sterling silver company. So I took classes and I learned how to work with silver, and I also learned how to draw my own fabric, print my own fabric, and use those techniques in my line.
Well, let's start at the beginning. So 10 years ago, you found yourself in what situation and why did you start making jewelry?
I found myself at home in my parents' house, home from teaching English with a summer of nothing to do, and I started to just make pendants just for fun by sandwiching fabric in between glass, and I thought, well, why not try and sell these? I think it was always something I had wanted to do, was to sell things that I made. Seemed so simple, but at the time, actually it felt kind of novel. So I set about doing some craft shows, folk festivals. I had a station wagon. At the time I went around that summer and sold these pendants, and actually they did quite well. And come fall I approached some stores and was just shocked. I doubled my prices, approached some stores and was kind of shocked that they wanted to order them. And from there, times were a lot different back then, and it was easier to approach stores and to have a collection in many stores without doing a whole lot of branding or any of that stuff you have to do now. And so I had my work in quite a few stores, but I knew that that wasn't where I wanted it to end with these stained glass pendants, I guess.
This was around Toronto?
Most of them were around Toronto, but I also did have my stuff in Vancouver, in the Vancouver Art Gallery, and sort of throughout Ontario. Yeah.
These are very delicate. What are we seeing here?
You're looking at 4 tiny pendants. I call that size tiny. Each one has a piece of fabric in it with an image that I've drawn. So there's a little blue hedgehog, a bike, 2 owls on a branch, and a dog.
Now, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Is there a reason?
Well, I think I invented this idea, and I think they're pretty unique. After about 5 years of making those pendants, I knew that I wanted to make a product that was a little nicer, I guess, made out of silver. I wanted it to have more versatility. With stained glass, you can really only make rectangles. You can make circles, but they're harder. And you can really only make rectangles. They have to be kind of large. They're a little bit clunky. I wanted to make it more refined, I guess. So I went to George Brown in the evenings, and I took classes in silver and casting and modeling. And from there, I just began the line, and I started using different fabrics. But yeah, that was the beginning of sort of the stained glass, the end of the stained glass and the beginning of the silver.
So you don't do any stained glass anymore?
No, I don't do any stained glass anymore.
So you do the silver, and you've got really neat little designs on there. Tell us how you do that, like the bunny and the bug and all of those things.
Thank you. I guess that's going back to when my daughter was born, so she's 4 now. So around that time, I had some time. I took some time off from just selling and making and selling, and I had some spare time to kind of evolve the line. And when she would sleep, I would draw. So that was the way that I began to draw the fabrics. And I already knew how to work the programs, the drawing programs, to do that. But it took a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to draw. I have about 75 or so images, and each one takes a few hours. And so I sit down and I do it. And it was when my daughter was born that this line really was born with her, I guess.
So every image somebody buys, they're getting something you drew from scratch?
I drew it, and then it's been printed. So I don't draw every pendant. I drew it, and then that gets printed onto fabric, and then I cut that fabric and put that fabric into the pendants.
But it's your own personal imagination.
It's my own personal design.
What's the best thing about being a jewelry designer?
The best thing about being a jewelry designer is probably that I am never bored. Before this company, I always found I would do something, and then when I thought to myself, oh, I'm going to have to do this for the rest of my life, I always felt like that was a really scary idea, and I don't think I could do this for the rest of my life. But it's always changing. It's not just the product. Designing the product is just a small part of what we do today. In this new world, not 10 years ago, in this new world, we have to do so many different things of building websites, designing all of the images on the websites, designing all of our branding, designing all of our logos and carding, and just it's and not to mention social media. And there are so many things to do that you never feel bored, and you always just feel like you don't know enough, and there's so much to learn. And there's always something new to learn too. And right now I'm working on some other new things.
Can you give us a hint of what what's coming?
Well, I recently joined a makerspace in Toronto, and there's a 3D printer there, so
What's a makerspace?
Oh, it's I think we're very lucky to have it, and it happens to be around the corner from my house. And it's a place where it's a collective, and you join, you pay a monthly fee, and then you have access to all of their woodworking tools, as well as they have a 3D printer, a laser cutter, a laser printer, and that's just the big stuff. They also have tons of little things too, and so you can go there 24 hours a day and use their space and their tools. And to my husband and I, we were so excited that now we just want to learn how to work everything, but I don't have a lot of time.
Well, these are kind of fun. What are we looking at here?
Those are adjustable leather cord bracelets, and they're colorful. They come in a whole bunch of colors. The one on the end is a leather strap. They're all genuine leather. It has 3 charms. One is a blossom, sterling silver blossom. It's a rose. The one beside it is a Liberty print charm made with Liberty print fabric from London, and a gemstone. And all the findings are sterling silver on that bracelet.
And then the ones in the middle are really brightly colored.
Yeah, those are, I call them button bracelets. They're made with a marmalade button, which is used at the clasp to do up the bracelet, and it's adjustable. It can go into any of the 3 slots. And then it also has an originals charm drawn by me, a bluebird and a bunny.
What's coming next in the future for your jewelry?
I don't really know, but I want to do more. The most recent addition to my line has been the plain silver pieces, which I built, and then they're cast in silver. So I'm wearing like a little acorn, and I have a whole bunch of those little charms. And I want to get more into that, maybe by 3D modeling some, I'm not sure yet, but probably using some form of 3D modeling.
And you also make earrings.
Yes, I make lots of earrings. These are Liberty print earrings. They're made with the Liberty fabric from London. And these are studs. They're all sterling silver, the posts as well.
Do they have matching necklaces, or do you advise against that?
They do have matching necklaces. You're welcome to wear them as a pair or not. I don't advise.
We can hear your baby in the background. He's only 4 months old, and I understand you work with him.
Yes, he's around. He's 4 months old. He's a good guy. He's often in the background.
Who is your customer?
My customer. I like to say that it's for everybody. Not everybody thinks it's for them. Some people see it and they think it's for kids, but in fact it's for anybody who sort of wants to add a little bit of color, fun, joy to their look and to their life, and appreciates that, because it's a very fun, it's young, but not in age, more in spirit. So it's not, yeah, it's for anybody.